Hidden moments change a life. Sometimes it happens quietly, almost unnoticed, like a whisper that finally becomes too loud to ignore. Today, that whisper is reaching you, chosen one. You are not here by chance. You are here because a truth that has followed you for years can no longer stay in the shadows. For a long time, ancient teachings spoke of a small number of individuals who feel the world differently. People who sense energy shifts before they happen, who carry burdens they never speak about, who heal others while silently breaking inside. These individuals were told that one day their inner knowing would rise to the surface. That day is now. In this video, I will guide you through the deeper layers of that truth. You will learn why your struggles were part of a larger preparation. You will learn the hidden link between divine timing and personal mastery. You will understand how the Shaolin path, often mistaken as only physical discipline, actually holds spiritual techniques rarely discussed outside the monastery. Techniques that reveal why you were chosen and what role you are meant to play at this stage of your journey. There are events from old Shaolin history, rarely spoken about, that mirror the exact challenges many chosen ones face today. As we move through this message, you'll see how these teachings connect to your life in ways you may have never recognized. Stay with me until the end. The truth becomes clearer with each layer we uncover, and by the final moment, your perspective on your purpose may shift entirely. Welcome to Shaolin Soulfire. If you are ready to walk this path with clarity and strength, consider subscribing and joining our growing circle of awakened seekers. Some truths are learned only when the world becomes quiet. In those quiet hours of training, when the body grows tired and the breath becomes heavy, a deeper lesson begins to reveal itself. Discipline is not about the body alone. In the Shaolin path, many arrive seeking strength in the muscles, faster strikes, or sharper movement. But the monastery has always taught that the body is only the doorway, never the destination. The real training begins where the eyes cannot see. It begins in the mind that refuses to quit, and in the spirit that learns to stand even when the body falls. When I was young, I believed that mastery lived in physical skill. My focus was on precision, speed, power. But my master would say nothing, only watching. One day he asked me to hold a simple stance, something I had done many times before. Minutes passed, then more. My legs trembled. My breath turned unsteady. Frustration grew. I wanted to prove myself, yet I felt myself breaking. Only later did I understand. He wasn't testing my legs, he was testing the part of me that breaks first, the mind. Shaolin training strips away illusions. When you meet your own limits, you also meet the fears beneath them. You meet impatience, pride, self-doubt, and the stories you tell yourself to escape discomfort. This is why perseverance becomes a mirror. It shows you who you truly are. Humility enters when you realize the body cannot carry you to mastery alone. Spirit must walk with it. The path asks for consistency, not as punishment, but as refinement, shaping your nature day by day. And through this inner work, a transformation begins. The fighter becomes a seeker, and discipline becomes a way of life rather than a task to complete. There is a moment in every seeker's journey when the outside world feels too loud, too fast, too demanding. That is usually the moment when true mindfulness begins to call. Not the modern version that speaks only of relaxation, but the ancient understanding, the art of being fully present with body, breath, thoughts, and emotions, exactly as they are, without running from them. In the old teachings, mindfulness was described as a lamp carried into a dark room. The room does not change when the lamp is lit, but everything inside it becomes visible. In the same way, awareness does not remove your fears or habits instantly, but it reveals them with honesty. This is why mindfulness can feel uncomfortable at first. It shows you the patterns you've repeated for years, the beliefs you picked up without question, the emotions you bury beneath movement and noise. There was a time when a young student asked a master why mindfulness was necessary if discipline alone could make him strong. The master placed a cup of water on the table and stirred it with a stick. The surface turned cloudy. "This," he said, "is your mind when you live without awareness. You see shapes but no truth." Then he let the water settle, and slowly everything inside became visible again. Only stillness reveals what lives beneath. Clarity is the first step toward freedom, because you cannot release what you cannot see. When you recognize the fears that hold you, they lose their power. When you understand your impulses, you stop being controlled by them. When you witness your emotions instead of drowning in them, you become the keeper of your inner world. Mindfulness is not simply a practice. It is a returning to yourself moment by moment until nothing within you remains hidden. Only then can true mastery begin. There comes a point on the path when movement no longer teaches what it once did. Strength, discipline, and effort reveal much, but eventually the seeker must turn towards something quieter, the stillness that waits beneath every thought. This stillness is not emptiness. It is a mirror, and within it everything becomes clear. In many ancient traditions, silence was considered a form of training equal to physical practice. Students were guided to sit with their breath, not to escape the world, but to finally hear what had been speaking inside them all along. For some, the first experience of silence feels unsettling. Without distraction, the mind reveals its storms. But if one stays, something remarkable happens, the storms pass, and what remains is a soft, steady presence that has always been there. One monk once asked his elder how to recognize intuition from fear. The elder led him to a lake at dawn. The surface was disturbed by ripples, reflecting nothing clearly. This, the elder said, is the mind filled with noise. Truth cannot speak through chaos. They waited as the lake settled. When the water became smooth, the sky appeared within it. And this, he continued, is the mind in stillness. Whatever rises from this clarity can be trusted. The subtle voice many call intuition or divine guidance does not shout. It never forces, never demands. It speaks in gentle currents, a feeling, a knowing, a direction that makes sense without explanation. Yet most people never hear it, because the world around them grows louder every year, and the world within them grows louder in response. To access this guidance, stillness must be chosen deliberately, not once, but again and again. The quiet mind becomes a sanctuary, a place where truth can finally reach you. In this mirror of silence, the inner teacher is always waiting. Every path of wisdom eventually leads to the same realization: the fiercest battles are not fought with swords, nor with adversaries outside, but with the forces living quietly within. Doubt, fear, pride, and old conditioning shape the way a person sees the world. They whisper limitations and distort truth until one forgets the strength that has always been present. In Shaolin tradition, a young warrior is never sent to face the outer world until he has faced himself. The elders understood that an undisciplined inner world turns even the smallest challenge into a mountain, while a disciplined inner world turns mountains into steps. A warrior who cannot calm his breath cannot steady his hands. A warrior who cannot master his emotions cannot trust his decisions. There is an old story of a student who believed he was ready for combat. His movements were sharp, his stance strong, but his master asked him to stand in front of a still candle flame. "Do not let your mind move," the master said. Just minutes later, the student's thoughts wandered, his breath shifted, and the flame flickered. "If a candle disrupts you," the master told him, "the world will break you." Only then did the student understand strength without inner mastery collapses at the first touch. The battles within are subtle. Fear disguises itself as caution. Ego disguises itself as confidence. Conditioning disguises itself as logic. To see through these layers requires awareness and patience. To overcome them requires discipline and honesty. But once this inner battleground is understood, something remarkable emerges: a quiet power that does not depend on recognition, a serenity that does not crumble under pressure, a purpose that does not waver. This is the strength of a true warrior, the one who has conquered the self before meeting the world. In every ancient school of wisdom, mastery was never measured by strength alone. It was not judged by sharpness of mind or depth of spirit in isolation. Instead, it was seen as a harmony, a balance between body, mind, and spirit that allowed a person to move through life with stability and clarity. This triad was understood as the foundation of wholeness. Shaolin teachings often use the image of a three-legged stool. If one leg weakens, the entire structure becomes unstable. The body may be strong and disciplined, but without a steady mind, strength becomes scattered. The mind may be sharp and intelligent, but without a nourished spirit, intelligence turns cold and directionless, and a person may feel spiritually awakened, yet without grounding in body and mind, that awakening never becomes action. There is a story of a practitioner who trained his body for years. His kicks were powerful, his endurance unmatched, yet he often felt restless and unfocused. His master sent him to meditate beside a river. For days the student struggled with the stillness. His mind raced, and his spirit felt dull. Only after many attempts did he feel something shift. The noise within softened, and the movement of the river began to mirror the calm he sought. He realized then that the body had run far ahead of the rest of his being. Mindfulness plays a vital role in restoring this harmony. It slows the mind, reconnects breath with intention, and gives space for the spirit to speak. Through consistent practice, the body becomes a vessel of discipline, the mind becomes a tool of clarity, and the spirit becomes a quiet guide. When these three move together, life does not pull you apart. Instead, each step becomes grounded, aware, and purposeful, the true expression of wholeness. Purpose is not discovered in rare moments of inspiration. It is shaped quietly in the choices made every day. Many believe that mastery is formed only during meditation, training, or deep reflection. But the elders taught that true mastery reveals itself in the simple, ordinary movements of life. The way you speak, the way you respond, the way you carry your energy through the world. There was once a student who trained with absolute dedication. His forms were precise, his breath disciplined, yet outside the training hall, he moved through life, hurried and distracted. One evening, his master watched him rush through a simple task and asked, "Why do you abandon your training the moment you step outside?" The student was confused. "I am not training," he said. "I am just living." The master smiled gently. That is where the real practice begins. Living with purpose means allowing inner truth to guide every step, not just the steps taken in silence. It means noticing the quality of your intentions before you act. It means choosing patience over reaction, clarity over confusion, and compassion over impulse. When these qualities are woven into daily actions, life stops feeling random. It becomes aligned, steady, and meaningful. This alignment does not demand perfection. It asks only for awareness, the kind that pauses before speaking, breathes before deciding, and listens before judging. With time, this awareness transforms ordinary moments. A conversation becomes an opportunity for kindness. A task becomes a form of discipline. A challenge becomes a place to practice truth. When daily life reflects the deeper values cultivated within, purpose becomes something lived, not searched for. Every step carries intention, every choice shapes destiny, and the simple act of being present becomes a quiet form of mastery. Many people spend their lives chasing approval they can never hold on to. Praise fades, applause quiets, and achievements that once felt powerful quickly become forgotten memories. Yet the world teaches us to seek more of it, more recognition, more validation, more reasons to feel worthy. But the ancient teachings remind us that the deepest strength does not grow under the eyes of others. It grows in the quiet spaces where no one is watching. There is an old tale of a monk who was praised constantly for his discipline. Visitors admired his skill, his calm, his presence. One day, a wise elder approached him and said, "You appear peaceful, but your eyes still search the crowd." The monk realized then that his confidence was tied to the approval he received. His practice was strong, but his foundation was fragile. True seekers learn to turn inward. They understand that worth cannot be measured by compliments or material success. These things rise and fall like the wind. But the inner light, the voice that knows when you are honest with yourself, when you are aligned with your values, when you are walking the path meant for you, that light does not depend on anyone else. The chosen ones are not defined by how the world sees them. They are defined by how deeply they see themselves. their strength comes from the quiet certainty that their actions are guided by truth, not by applause. Their progress is measured by inner alignment, not by external reward. As dependency on validation fades, a different kind of freedom appears. Decisions become clearer, purpose becomes steadier, and the heart no longer bends under the weight of others' opinions. In this independence, the inner light grows bright, a light that guides without needing to be admired. Storms come to everyone. Some arrive as sudden challenges, others as long, dragging trials that seem to test every part of a person. Many rush to resist them, to fight the chaos, to force life back into order. Yet the teachings of old, passed down through silent halls and disciplined practice, show another way, the power of calm. Discipline alone builds strength, but without mindfulness, it can become rigid and reactive. Mindfulness alone brings awareness, but without discipline, it can dissolve under pressure. Together, they create resilience, an inner foundation that does not crumble when the world shakes. The practitioner learns to meet storms not with panic or escape, but with steady breath and clear perception. There is a story of a monk caught in a sudden tempest while crossing a mountain path. The wind howled, rain blurred the rocks, and fear rose naturally. Others ran blindly, slipping into danger. But he slowed his breathing, centered his awareness, and moved with careful precision. The storm did not harm him, because he had learned to face turmoil with presence. The path was still treacherous, but his mind remained steady, guiding his body safely through chaos. Resilience is not the absence of fear. It is the ability to act from clarity rather than reaction. When hardship arrives, a calm mind sees options that panic cannot. It notices patterns that confusion hides. It discerns the moment to act, the moment to wait, the moment to surrender. This clarity becomes a sanctuary, a place where decisions are rooted in understanding instead of impulse. Through disciplined practice and mindful awareness, life's storms lose their power to destabilize. The challenges remain, but the spirit no longer bends uncontrollably. Calm becomes a tool, a guide, and ultimately a shield that carries the seeker steadily forward. There is a moment on the path when effort alone cannot carry the seeker further. Every form practiced, every breath observed, every struggle faced, they prepare the mind and spirit for something greater, the ability to surrender. Not surrender in weakness, not giving up in despair, but a quiet trust in a higher intelligence that has always been present. Ancient masters spoke of this intelligence as a river beneath the surface. The current is unseen, yet it moves with precision. To swim against it is exhausting. To ignore it is to drift aimlessly. But when the practitioner aligns body, mind, and spirit, and releases the need to control every detail, the current begins to carry them with clarity and purpose. There is a story of a monk who trained for years in solitude. His discipline was unwavering, his awareness sharp, and his mastery of self profound. Yet when faced with a critical decision, one that would define his path, he felt no certainty. He sat by a quiet stream, observing the water's flow, until he understood the answers he sought were not in effort or analysis, but in listening. By trusting what he could not fully see, he moved with the current instead of against it. Surrender, in this sense, is the bridge between preparation and guidance. After years of training the body, calming the mind, and mastering the self, the seeker becomes ready to hear the subtle promptings of truth. These promptings are not always loud or immediate. They are gentle, precise, and often counterintuitive, revealing choices and directions that align with purpose and destiny. To allow this higher intelligence to guide is to release fear of uncertainty. It is to trust that the work done within has prepared you for what lies ahead. In that trust, every decision carries a resonance beyond personal desire, and life unfolds with clarity that discipline and mindfulness alone could never provide. Knowledge alone is a shadow without form. To understand truth is only half of the path. The other half lies in becoming it. The ancients taught that a principle unpracticed remains a theory, but a principle lived becomes a force, visible, undeniable, and transformative. There was a disciple who spent years learning the art of restraint, patience, and clarity. He could recite every teaching, explain every lesson, and meditate with precision. Yet outside the monastery, he often lost his temper, reacted with impatience, and allowed fear to guide him. One day, his master observed him in a heated exchange and said, "Words are only wind. The path is known in the steps you take." That day, the disciple realized that truth was meant to be embodied, not only understood. Living the teachings means aligning speech, action, and thought. It means showing calm when chaos surrounds you, compassion when judgment tempts you, and integrity when shortcuts call. Every choice becomes an opportunity to reflect the inner work cultivated through discipline, mindfulness, and self-mastery. Ordinary moments, a conversation, a task, a gesture, become the canvas on which truth is painted. When a person lives in this way, they become a living example. Others notice the steadiness, the clarity, the quiet strength that cannot be faked. They feel the resonance of something authentic, something larger than words. The hidden truths, once obscure, reveal themselves through presence rather than proclamation. To embody truth is to light a path for others without intending to lead. Your life becomes proof that what was once hidden is real, tangible, and attainable. The seeker transforms into the guide, not through titles or recognition, but simply by being the living expression of the wisdom cultivated within. In this embodiment, the journey comes full circle, knowing, becoming, and quietly illuminating the way for those ready to see. The hidden truth you have been seeking is no longer out of reach. You, the chosen one, now carry within you the principles that guide mastery of body, mind, and spirit. These are not lessons to display or speak of lightly. They are a path, a living journey of transformation, purpose, and clarity. Every moment you act with awareness, patience, and integrity strengthens the path beneath your feet. Each choice, no matter how small, becomes an opportunity to align with your inner light and the higher intelligence that guides you. The disciplines, mindfulness, and inner work you have explored here are tools, but it is your commitment to embody them daily that turns knowledge into true power. Walk steadily. Embrace each challenge as a chance to deepen your understanding. Trust the inner guidance that whispers through silence, stillness, and reflection. In this way, life itself becomes a teacher, and your own presence becomes proof that these hidden truths are real. Let the calm and clarity you cultivate ripple outward. Live each day with purpose, letting your actions reflect the mastery and wisdom you are developing. This is not an end but a beginning, a continuous journey toward wholeness, strength, and inner freedom. If this message resonates with you and you are ready to continue walking this path, join us at Shaolin Soulfire. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and walk with us as we explore the deeper layers of wisdom, discipline, and self-mastery together. Peace and clarity be with you on every step of your journey.